Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of our off-road camper build. Now this week, before we start on anything to do with the roof and roof racks and solar panels, I wanted to tidy up a few loose ends. So we've done the tail lights, the wiring for the tail lights, that's all finished. Stabiliser legs, I've done some trim inside it, but instead of chatting about it, let's go and have a look. Now with the tail light set, as I've already mentioned in a previous episode, they're an LED truck light copy set off an eBay reseller. In my country, Australia, the requirement is to have an amber indicator light and red tail light and stop light. That's in the one unit in this, and the stop light is a higher wattage, so when it comes on you can see it's the stop light. There's no requirement to have a reverse light, however, as I had it as part of the set, it's always nice to have. Now, as you've seen in previous episodes, the actual LED unit is a press fit into the rubber bucket, and the rubber bucket is a press fit with a rebate on the outside, so it sits flush. They all sit flush. They've turned out quite nice. I've sealed them in with Sikaflex, and I presume at this point anyway that they'll be waterproof, so I'm fairly confident. But we won't know until we put a hose on it and it rains. With wiring on these, I've connected them all up with waterproof Deutsch plugs. They're an automotive plug, not the cheapest plug in the world, but they work well, and if I want to remove the lights at any point, I can just undo the plug. So the lights are all finished now and working. Now with these Deutsch plugs, they can be quite expensive. I found buying an eBay set was quite cost effective. I think it was about $170. Some of these plugs retailers sell for $10 to $20 each, so it's well worth getting this, and this came with the crimper. The crimper can be quite expensive if you buy it by itself anyway. Now with these Deutsch plugs, I'll put one together. There's a male and a female terminal, and that's quite self-explanatory. And on these terminals, at the back of them, they both have a collar, and the wire doesn't go any further than that collar. So you don't have to strip the wire any further than the collar, which after a while you get the hang of. Get yourself a nice pair of stripping pliers. And you need about that much, which when you put it up to the collar, the insulation should come down right to the end of the terminal. Now the crimping tool, you just put the terminal in front first, you insert your wire you want to crimp, as so, and then just crimp it. And once it's crimped, you take it out and it's done. Now, as I said, we've got a male and a female terminal. We've also got a male and a female plug. What you need to remember is the male terminal goes into the female plug. With regard to these, they've got a waterproof slot on the back. You just stick the terminal in to the plug you're wanting to use, and then you push it in until such time as you hear it click, and at that point it won't go any further. With the, I'll only put one plug in these. With the female terminal, with this triple, there's this green plug that holds them all in, so you just insert those. So you just insert the green plug into there, and then just push it home with a pair of long-nosed pliers, and that's your female plug finished. With the male plug again, Now before you insert the other one, I just put the plugs together, line up the two cables that I want to meet, so you know you've got the right hole. And again, push that through the waterproof plug in the back, and again push the wire in until you hear it click. Now this thing here goes on the front of the male plug and just clips its way in, as so. And that should look like that. And then it's just pushing the two plugs together, job done. So they're a really nice, elegant plug. I quite like these. One thing I forgot to mention was, if you're not using all the terminals on this, you can put these white plugs in and that'll keep it a waterproof fitting. But if you're going to use these things, I found that buying the items separately was hugely expensive, but buying the kit was quite cost effective, and you will use them as time goes on with different jobs. Now as you can see, I've installed two of these Alco Bigfoot off-road stabiliser legs. They've bolted to the rear cross member of the trailer. It should be okay. Alco says that they can be side mounted or top mounted or bolted or welded. I'll have to keep an eye on that that's not flexing. However, you're not lifting the back of the camper with them, you're only stabilising them. And the pins that lock the legs in aren't that big, and they do have a habit of bending if you are trying to lift up the back of the camper. So just use them for stabilising and it should be okay. But they've got a big pad on the end, hence the Bigfoot name, and they should be quite good. I'm hoping that in sand and the like they'll work quite well, but we shall see how we go. But yeah, stabilisers are now fitted to the back of this, and once you take it off the vehicle, it should be quite solid. Now, I also had a problem with the interior lining, where this angled roof section met this wall section, and there was an unsightly gap here. So what I've done is I got a piece of joiner that went between waterproof shower recesses, and it's a gloss white joiner, so it fits really well, and that's just Sikaflexed in. So I'm very happy with how that's worked out. I still need to put the finishing plugs into these windows, but I'll do that last, just in case I have to take the windows out for any reason. I installed the interior Bluetooth lighting switch. And again, if you go back through our previous episodes, you'll see that there's no wiring with regards to this, but that's turned out quite nice. More than happy with that. So that's where we're up to at this point. It's all coming together, really happy with it. Can't decide on whether I'm going to do the hatch next or start on the roof rack, but I'll worry about that on the day, how I feel. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.